In a quiet village cradled by forests and forgotten roads, a girl named Lila lived under a roof that once held love but now echoed with silence. Her mother had died when she was only 7, leaving behind a grief so heavy it hollowed out their home. Her father, once kind and warm, became a shadow of himself. After some time, he remarried. His new wife, Marga, came with 2 sons, Bram and Jory, who brought noise, chaos, and cold laughter. Lila had hoped that maybe Marga would fill the hole left by her mother. Maybe she would sing lullabies or braid her hair, or even just smile kindly. But no kindness ever came. Instead, Marga gave Lila the attic, a dark, dusty space with splintered floorboards and a broken window that let in more wind than light. While Bram and Jory had beds with soft blankets, Lila shivered under a torn sheet, curled up tightly in the cold. Every morning before the sun rose, she was made to fetch water, sweep the floors, scrub the pots, and cook breakfast she never got to eat. Marga always said, "A girl like you should be grateful to have a roof at all." Her stepbrothers mocked her daily. They'd steal her shoes and throw them in the snow, tear her drawings, blame her for things they had done. And when she cried, they laughed harder. At first, Lila looked to her father for help. But each time she called to him, he seemed farther away. He came home late from the fields, barely said a word, and when he did, it was tired and distracted. He no longer saw her, not really. It was as if her pain had turned her invisible. Still, Lila endured. Day by day, she moved like a ghost through the house. She became quiet, not because she had nothing to say, but because no one wanted to hear her. And each night after her chores, she climbed back to the attic and stared at the stars through the cracked glass. She'd whisper to them, "Are you there, Mama? Can you see me?" In those moments, she made up stories just for herself, stories where girls like her turned into birds and flew over the mountains, or where wolves protected the lonely from harm, or where mothers lived in the stars and watched over their children like silent guardians. One night, during a cruel winter storm, the attic was unbearably cold. The wind howled like a voice trying to warn her, and frost crept across the floor like fingers. Her body shivered so violently she could hardly sleep. Hunger gnawed at her stomach. Quiet as a whisper, Lila crept downstairs in the dark, hoping to steal just a crust of bread. Her hands were shaking as she reached the kitchen, so close, just one bite, one warm bite. But Marga caught her. "What do you think you're doing?" she hissed, her voice like ice. Lila barely had time to answer before Marga slapped the bread from her hands, letting it fall to the floor. "Thief!" she spat, loud enough to wake the whole house. Her father came into the kitchen, eyes half open, weary. He looked at the bread. Then he looked at Lila. And then he looked away. He said nothing. Lila didn't cry. She just turned, picked up the bread from the floor, and placed it back on the table. She walked upstairs, slower than before, and closed the attic door behind her. She didn't sleep that night. Not because she was cold, not because she was hungry, but because something inside her had changed. Her heart didn't break. It had broken long ago. But something else woke up, something quiet and strong. That night, Lila stopped waiting for kindness. She stopped hoping someone would see her pain or save her from it. Instead, she lit a small fire inside herself. Not a fire of rage, but one of determination. From then on, she didn't complain. She didn't cry. She did her work, listened to their jeers, and held her silence like armor. But every night she whispered her stories. Every night she built a world where she mattered. In her stories she was brave. She was loved. She was free. And slowly Lila grew, not in comfort, not in safety, but in strength. Her spirit became unshakable. She learned how to survive the cold, how to endure loneliness, how to keep her dreams alive in a place that tried to kill them. She learned how to smile without showing her teeth, how to walk without being heard, how to carry pain without letting it crush her. She learned that the world does not always give warmth to those who need it. But even in the cold, something beautiful can grow. And though this story does not end with a rescue or a grand escape, it ends with a promise. One day, Lila will walk out of that house. She will leave behind the attic, the silence, the frost. She will find her voice and use it like fire. She will not be broken because she never truly was, because ashes, though gray and cold, still remember the fire they came from. And one day, from those ashes, something new will rise,